Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Sorry about the confusion last night. They continuously pushed it back to the point where I finally said, screw it. It actually launched at about 5:30 Eastern. Just checking Rumble here. Rumble doesn't look like they're working again. So we'll just have to deal with that. So it was successful. Yes, it is. What's up, Greedy? Shenny, hello. Stop it. No, they pushed it back again and then again and again. What's up, Fast? This is all why Boeing sucks. I hope Belanders rewatches. So I wanted to do ULA, United Launch Alliance, does have a rocket builder. And I wanted to just run through that real quick because I thought it was cool. It doesn't allow you to select a year, but let's say that we want sun synchronous. We want that's so beautiful. So let's go 10,000 kilos. And we'll do a long payload fairing. Blah, blah, blah. So it tells you how much it would be. It would be $73 million to launch that payload. And it would be the AEHF-2. So it's kind of cool, but I think it's also specifically for the company if you're actually buying a spot on a rocket. So without further ado, I have not. I know. I went to sleep. So we'll go through launch coverage like we're surprised and like it never happened.
We have ignition of the RS-68A main engine.
So this is what the rocket looks like. United Launch Alliance is a conglomeration of several companies. They are the legacy tech.
Good morning. I'm Andrea Lenhoff. I'm a systems engineering lead at ULA and your host for today's Delta IV Heavy launch of NROL-68.
God, they have such boring people
Cape Canaveral
calling
Space
these.
Force
They
Station
need somebody
in Florida,
like a
where
Mighty
liftoff
Meat.
is currently scheduled for 5:18 a.m. Eastern. In addition to watching our webcast, you can also follow live mission progress at ulalaunch.com. In a few seconds, the launch count will enter the second of 2 planned holds. At this time, the team is not working any issues. At the request of our customer, we'll end today's live coverage following payload fairing jettison.
Okay, so I don't like how they do this. So this was the confusion with the time earlier, last evening, because it was supposed to go at 3, and then it held. They build in holds, so they build in times, so they can do different things or fix different issues. And I just want people to think about things. All right, cool. I appreciate it, buddy. We've watched several SpaceX launches, and for the most part, they go out without a hitch, right on time, and it's pretty consistent. Other companies do not have that track record. And again, this is United Launch Alliance. I forget what companies are in it. I should look. I know it's, well, let me not speak on it until I know exactly what companies. But there's a conglomeration of companies that are the legacy defense budget. Let's see. ULAlaunch.com. Hang on. About ULA. There we go. Yeah, they don't really say. Whatever. It's not important. They're the legacy tech companies that have always been in the space program because they do it intentionally. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. This is a big rocket. This is the Delta IV Heavy. So this upper piece, and we'll get into this, it will show this upper piece is the Centaur. And this first stage is the Delta IV Heavy. There's two things that are really cool about this and why I was so excited to cover a launch live. One of the things is this actually, the hydrogen, the excess hydrogen, they pump it out into the air. So you'll see flames come all the way up the side of the rocket. And it's designed like that. It's by design. The second thing is the unbalanced. Normally you have, you have the equal but opposite sides. This one is 3 strapped on to each other. Thank you. I couldn't find it. I knew it was Boeing, but I couldn't remember the other one. Lockheed Martin and Boeing. So the defense contractors. Nope, we won't see puffy stuff on this one. So we'll get back into it, but
we have experienced some unsettled conditions here at Space Coast, but the weather looks to be in our favor this morning. Let's take a look at the forecast recently provided by Space Launch Delta 45 Weather Officer Mark Berger. Here are the numbers. The probability of violating launch constraints is less than 10%. Ground winds are 15 to 20 knots out of the south, and the temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Our primary concerns are violation of the cumulus cloud rule. Today's launch is for the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO.
Okay, I'll check
it out.
The
NRO is the leader in developing, acquiring, launching, and operating the nation's intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance satellites to secure and expand America's advantage in space. The NROL-68 mission will strengthen the NRO's ability to provide a wide range of timely intelligence information to national decision makers, warfighters, and intelligence analysts to protect the nation's vital interests and support humanitarian efforts worldwide.
Hey, what's up, Dog Mama? So I've showed it on camera before, and I'm not going to. I'm redoing a bunch of my office and trying to make sense of things. So I'm not turning on my camera at all. But I 3D printed one of these and painted it, and it looks really freaking cool. This is one of my, despite the company, it's one of my favorite rockets. And of course, this shit company is discontinuing this rocket. I thought this was going to be its last flight, but apparently they are contracted for one more. So, oh shit, I did it again. Okay, so we saw that. Let's go into
only rocket capable of launching the NROL-68 mission.
Yeah, it should be coming up.
Built in Decatur, Alabama, the Delta IV Heavy is the only operational rocket qualified to integrate and launch NROL-68. 3 RS-68A engines power the triple booster first stage, and RL-10 propels the Delta Cryogenic Second Stage, or DCSS. Sitting atop the DCSS is the NROL-68 payload, encapsulated in a 5-meter diameter metallic tri-sector payload fairing. Launch processing activities begin with transporting and lifting the booster and DCSS onto the fixed launch platform at Space Launch Complex 37. Next, the encapsulated payload fairing is lifted and mated to the DCSS. Final preps were underway when 40 hydraulic cylinders at pressures nearing 3,500 psi raised the Mobile Service Tower, or MST, about 8 inches. A carriage transporter system, traveling at a quarter mile per hour, then moves the MST to its launch position, approximately 345 feet north of the rocket. 100 feet wide, 300 feet tall, and weighing about 10 million pounds. The MST protects the rocket and payload from weather here on Florida's Space Coast. The Delta IV Heavy stands 235 feet, or more than 23 stories, and once fully fueled, weighs 1.6 million pounds. Equipped with 3 RS-68A engines, this rocket produces more than
1.6 million pounds per rocket. Big rocket.
2 million pounds of thrust liftoff. With the MST rolled back, the launch team transitions to fueling and other final preparations.
The MST is the original problem they had, the launch tower. So.
ULA's Delta IV Heavy will head south from Space Launch Complex 37. Here's a look at today's flight.
To mitigate the fireball created by the hydrogen-burning Delta IV Heavy rocket.
Oh, this went this morning, Steve.
Start sequence begins with ignition of the
they
launch
just
table HPOs,
moved it back 3 times, and I didn't
excess
get a chance to do it live because I wasn't going to stay up all night.
Next, the starboard Delta
so
IV
it was
Rofi
successful.
Lights, igniting
it
its RS-68A
lifted off at,
engine.
I think it was 5:29 a.m.
RS-68A engines ignite to generate more than 2.1 million pounds of total thrust to lift the 1.6 million pound triple-core rocket off the pad. Shortly after liftoff,
I should have let you know this is a Delta
IV
IV Heavy, so they look incredible at night. The ones that catch fire all the way up the...
79 seconds into flight, the Delta IV reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. 2 seconds later, the rocket experiences maximum dynamic pressure as it travels through Earth's atmosphere. With propellant depleted in the port and starboard boosters, the engines shut down, and the boosters are jettisoned to shed their weight. The remaining booster engine then throttles to full power to maximize performance against gravity losses. Once propellant levels deplete in the center booster, the engine shuts down. Delta IV separation then activates to release the first stage. The vehicle now weighs approximately 6%
so here's my problem with these
of what
launch
it did at
companies,
liftoff.
and SpaceX does a pretty good job of it.
Following jettison of all 3 boosters,
something
the Delta
so
Cryogenic
cool.
Second Stage,
They are just so
DCSS
bland about.
main engine
Like you could do
ignites.
so much with this.
During ascent, NROL-68 is protected inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing.
I think it's like 15 minutes. Like I said, this was last night. We're holding at T-4, but I peeked ahead and it actually went.
Where it will begin its national security mission.
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes. This is your countdown clock up here. When this starts moving again, then...
On the Delta Heavy rocket, we see mission artwork provided by the NRO in addition to the U.S. flag and the ULA, Space Force, and Delta logos. Note the number 388 inside the Delta logo, signifying this launch's place in Delta history. The rocket also includes dedications to teammates who are no longer with us. Let's remember our ULA teammates.
Today's flight is dedicated to Mark Anthony, Steve Horde, and Jim Webble. Mark Anthony joined the Decatur, Alabama production team in 1999 in the Skin, Ring, and Dome Work Center, supporting the automated ultrasonic scanning system. During his career, he also supported the build and test of the Delta II rocket before transitioning to the Delta IV final assembly area, where he quickly became a critical member of the build and test team. Outside of work, Mark was a member of the Semper Fi Gold Star Racing team that sponsored children who had lost a parent while serving in the military.
Let's get back to an active count. That would be awesome. T-4 minutes, because I can talk about it. looks like I skipped it. Shit. This looks like a Centaur testing.
With this launch, we are also remembering NRO teammates. Here is Mission Director, Colonel Chad Davis.
Copy. This morning's NROL-68 launch is dedicated to the memory of Vince Martelli, Patrick Wang, Steve Vess, Manny Salinas, and Ernie Frank. Together, Vince, Patrick, Steve, Manny, and Ernie dedicated countless hours of their deep technical expertise to ensure the incredible success of a multitude of launches. Their warm personalities, team spirit, and phenomenal leadership will be remembered by the aerospace and launch communities. To our fellow patriots, rest in peace. MD out.
Start running that goddamn countdown clock. Well, we've seen it go up. Or
LC flight control, launch on time verified.
Roger.
Hey, what's up, D's?
LC switch to the ready position. All steps are complete prior to the status check.
So this is mission control audio. So they should start the countdown clock again here pretty soon. So this is the last verified hold. So anything past this point, so they hold, and
8 minutes.
And it's weird, but you should have it down. This is the 15th flight of this rocket, so you should be able to do it. But so they'll hold.
Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We remain in the planned 15-minute built-in hold as launch preparations continue. In a few moments, launch conductor Scott Barney will pull the launch team for the final go to pick up the count. 27 engineers and managers are pulled for system status and readiness to proceed. This is the final status check before launch vehicle for all Delta vehicle systems, ground systems, and the spacecraft, and U.S. Space Force Eastern Range. The vehicle system readiness pull includes electrical systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs the final pulling of the launch team.
So a 15-minute built-in hold. Why don't you just run 15 minutes on the clock and get it done?
Status check to proceed with terminal count. First stage systems propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Second stage systems locks. Go. LH2.
Go.
Electrical
Hey,
systems
Puffer.
airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control. Go. Com.
Go.
GC cube.
Go.
This is called the
Operations.
go, no go poll.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
ASGAS.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Red line monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Ops safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. ALC. Verified T0 set for 0918 Zulu.
Verified.
MEQ. Establish swing arm lock pins pull.
Active.
Yeah, and AP, that's exactly what it is. This is a heavily
Polling is
governmental.
The ULA launch team and the NRO mission
launch
director
provider,
go for
so-
launch. From T-minus 4 minutes until launch,
Nothing
you will hear
makes sense.
Scott Barney guiding the team through the final steps in the countdown procedure. Several critical activities occur in the final minutes, including verifying fuel tank levels and pressures in the 3 boosters and the DCSS, in addition to arming the flight termination system. At T-minus 15 seconds, the launch table HBOs at the base of the rocket are ignited to burn off excess hydrogen. At T-minus 7 seconds, the starboard engine is ignited. At T-minus 5 seconds, the port and center engines are ignited. Once the Delta IV Heavy lifts off, you'll hear flight commentator Rob Kesselman providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Alpha 1 SV, configure for launch.
Roger. All steps are complete prior to terminal count.
Okay, so that was a go, no-go poll. So they look at all the individual systems. All the supervisors of the specific systems will look at their data and information, make sure everything's nominal. They will give a go if they're go. If there's a no-go, they will hold or scrub. So as you heard, everything was a go. CG press confirmed summit imploded. They will map
This
debris
is Delta Mission Control at
will
T-minus
start
4 minutes and
investigations.
holding. We
Damn.
anticipate releasing the hold in just a few moments.
I didn't really get into the sub news, but I'm starting to pick up a little bit of it because it's everywhere. So.
Minus 4 minutes and count.
All right, the countdown clock's going again. So now we're T-minus 4
Ground
and actually on the way.
enabled.
Just think of that, 33rd launch for the National Reconnaissance Office. So there's 33 different spy satellites that they put up at.
The clock is resumed and we are go for launch at 5:18 a.m. Eastern. With liftoff approaching, we're raising the volume on our launch team so you can hear the final preparations taking place.
At $200 million a launch with the 4 Delta 4.
Second stage lock, secure at flight level.
Cover the sub. Yeah, I'll probably do something. I don't know if I'll roll it into tonight's news, but I might do something. We'll see.
3 minutes, 7 seconds.
So as you can see, there's all those connections because they use this main center booster for the Vulcan Centaur.
2 minutes, 49 seconds.
It's a cool design.
FTS
so.
internal.
Yeah, that sub was, especially when it got lost, they were never going to find it. All right, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So you also see their launch tower. Their launch tower is so big and
CBC lock,
bulky.
flight pressure and flight level.
Man. If all you got to do is put a load of crap that sinks and call it a sub, I could build me a sub. Remind me to never go in a sub with greedy bloke.
2 minutes.
Hydraulic pressure 4,000.
No, I agree,
Vehicle
Sean.
internal.
1 minute, 55
Oh, yeah,
Launch
beers.
sequencer start.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
Good morning, Toria. Well, it's afternoon, but
1 minute, 40 seconds.
SCS launch enabled.
137.
so you're hearing different callouts for different systems, different
T-minus
checklists.
90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and Eastern Range are go for launch.
They have to check the weather. They have
1
to check the
minute.
downrange weather, upper level
OCs
weather.
are FCS count started.
Funny, these. See, we get a little bit of
T-minus
puffy
1
stuff.
minute.
That's hydrogen.
Rock.
Priming
report
the
range
engines.
status.
Range green.
50 seconds.
T-minus 50. My apologies if you hear my
Second stage LH2
crazy
secure at
kids
flight level.
bouncing around like they're circus upstairs.
30 seconds.
Yeah, we got some
Status
puffy
check.
stuff.
Go Delta.
Go NROL-68.
Go Delta 4. All right, and I'll shut up and listen when
15 seconds.
shut up and
Roll
watch.
for ignition.
So now we have ignition, T-minus 10.
10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7,
There's the
6,
flames, hydrogen
5,
burn off.
4. We have ignition. 3, 2, 1. And liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
Oh, it's such a beautiful,
NROL-68 for the
rocket.
National Reconnaissance Office.
Vehicle has now begun the pitch-over maneuver.
I think it's interesting that they pitch over almost immediately.
25 seconds into flight, vehicle performance looks nominal.
And that fire is normal. That's the hydrogen burn off and burning the paint off the bottom of the boosters.
Rob Kessler providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Core booster has now reached the desired partial thrust level.
That's what I'm saying, Sean. They got to spice it up a little bit. I mean, for Christ's sake, it is space flight. It is a rocket. How can you not be excited about it? Jude, like I said, this happened at about 5 a.m. Eastern. I wasn't able to,
5.8 miles down
because of the holds and delays. I wasn't able to stay up long enough to cover it, but so I'm just getting into it now.
Passing through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Mach 1, Delta 4 Heavy is now supersonic.
So now we're supersonic. They won't give telemetry data because it is, 1, it's ULA and they suck. 2, it's classified because of the NRO. So they can't give speed and telemetry data.
Now at 110 seconds into flight, we are now 14 miles in altitude, 12 miles downrange distance. The second stage RCS system pressurization valve has fired, and the RCS is now pressurizing the flight levels.
These. So those were about 2 minutes.
Has now gone to close loop guidance.
So they should be cutting off the core stage engines pretty quick here, and that's why you're not seeing as much flame. And then they'll drop the sides and then the core.
We have 3 minutes remaining in the boost phase of flight.
Oh shit! 3 minutes? I was unaware that they fly those for 5 minutes. Wow.
Weighs 1/2 of what it did at liftoff, burning propellant at a rate of almost 5,000 pounds per second.
5,000 pounds of propellant per second, and they use hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrolox. It's one of the old school fuels, let's call it. So it's just pure liquid hydrogen, pure liquid oxygen. The nice thing about it is it burns, and the byproduct is water, which doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense. So the burn off is water.
We're now 210 seconds into flight. We have 30 minutes remaining until the port and starboard booster engines cut off. Vehicle performance continues to look good, with the port and starboard engines burning at the maximum power level, the core R-68 burning at the partial thrust level.
Wait a minute. Did they just say 30 minutes? No. It's a bird. It's a plane.
Boosters are now throttling down. The engine response looks good. Port and starboard cutoff, and we've had separation of the 2 side boosters.
So there's the side boosters. This is not...
Core booster is now throttling back up, and the maximum power level has been achieved.
This is not like SpaceX. They do not land the boosters. They drop into the ocean, and they're gone forever. It is a one-use rocket. Kind of a waste, if you ask me. But again, legacy tech.
The upper stage lock system has begun the boost phase chill-down sequence to begin thermal conditioning of the RL-10 engine.
So the RL-10, the upper stage engine.
1 minute remains in the booster phase of flight.
So they're pressurizing that top portion, that top booster.
Upper stage fuel system has now begun the boost phase chill-down sequence.
Do they become submarines? Yes. Yes, it does. It's never too soon, dog mama. So this is obviously an animation of.
We're now 300 seconds into flight, flying at an altitude of 70 miles, downrange distance of 370 miles.
And a poor animation at that for a company that combined makes $1 trillion every year.
Delta IV core vehicle booster performance continues to look good. The R-68 is now throttling down.
See, and I know it's all by design, but it's only a few $1 million to build each booster and government funded, so why save them? Yeah, exactly.
And we've had stage 1-2 separation and ignition on the RL-10.
If you ask me, they have a pretty
deployment of the nets.
Inefficient.
And now ignition on the RL-10 for the first burn.
The RS-28s are pretty inefficient engines. A lot of leakage and a lot of. They wouldn't be my first choice. Oh yeah, liquid hydrogen is insane. It is.
Upper stage performance looks good at this time.
Oh,
the
no,
indication of payload fairing separation.
I want to take a submarine down to where all these
This is Delta Mission
animation of
Control at
payloads
T
up.
plus 6 minutes and 45 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Rob Kesselman confirm the successful completion of the early phase of today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. At this time, we're going to end our live coverage. For more information about the Delta IV Heavy,
special.
please.
So yeah, that was the flight. Pretty exciting. I'm going to show you some pictures. This is launch picture. When we start building our sub, we'll talk these. You're going to go test it though. So here's a picture that they stole the idea from SpaceX, but you know, can't be original. They're the government. And this is the 3 engines, those RS-28s burning from the ground. See, it's almost, you can see it in the flame. It's almost pulsed. It seems like they're wasting a lot of efficiency, but shit, what do I know? So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. It's a really cool rocket. Unfortunately, it's going out of service. But yeah, what I was saying, I would love to build a rocket that I can, or not a rocket, build a submarine that I can go down and borrow some of those rockets pieces that are in the ocean. So, and I try and say bullshit about, oh, they're habitats for the animals down there and all that. So, yeah, whatever. Reefs. I think that's what they call them. Reefs. So yeah. So that was the launch. I'm gonna get back to work here. Yep, government rocket waster is the name of the game. Yep. Locks is fun. But yeah. But yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and watching the launch. We'll have news and movie night tonight, 8:30 Eastern. It's about 4.5 hours ish, somewhere in there. So yeah, that's what's coming up tonight. We have Bumblebee in Discord as the movie, and we'll catch up with all the news of the week. So thank you so very much for joining me, and I will catch you all later. Have a good one, y'all.